All right, so let's start. Right, just making sure that everything is what I want on the screen. Okay, so let's start off with ES futures, S&P 500 futures. Okay, so this is the weekly chart, right? Overall, we're in a bullish order flow. Okay, so for next week, I'm expecting price to reach into this volume imbalance shaded in blue, and I want to see if it wants to attack the swing high right here, because above the swing high we have a liquidity void, right? So this gap right here whereby there's no price action um, on the right. Okay, so this is the weekly um, balance price range right here. This is a high and this is a low. I did not mark out the low because the low is below this bullish order block, which I do not want to see price trade beyond if we are going to be bullish tomorrow. I mean, like next week. Okay, so heading down into the daily time frame, we took out the highs here. The highs made 2 weeks back, and we have this bullish consecutive down close candles. Okay, we bounced off this daily fair value gap here, and we have closed above this bearish fair value gap, right? So this is another balanced price range. Okay, but because we are above the weekly, so I'm gonna use the weekly balanced price range for confluence rather than the daily inversion. Okay, heading down into the lower time frames, we have 4 hours. Okay, so basically what can you see on 4 hours is that we took out sell sides and then we shifted bullish right here. So this is a breaker, this up close candle. So if you draw a line across, you can see that price came right back down into the breaker within a fair value gap. Okay, so that sent the price higher. So if we're bullish, we want to see this reaction, and then using the down close candles right here, as you can see again, this is a consecutive down close candle, so both of them makes up a order block. So price came down and then supports, so this order block supports the price and price went higher, and then again another down close candle. Use the highs. Why am I using the high right here? Because on this day it's Thursday, right? And we have an objective, which is the volume balance above. So usually if you have a higher time frame objective but price has been lagging from Monday to Wednesday, Thursdays and Fridays are going to see expansions. So this is what we got. And then right now we have closed above um, the bodies of the highs here, right? Created a 4 hours fair value gap, and then we have the weekly balance price range in confluence with that. So next week I want to see price come back down into this area here. Okay, this fair value gap, and then trade higher. So if you're bullish, I want to see if we have any opportunities to buy under weekly opening price, and then you'll see that candle expand upwards into the targets above. Right, so how far can this go? Okay, I will use the fibs, mark out the swing low and the swing high, right, the last stop hunt. Okay, and then I project it out. Right, so these are the figures that I have. Okay, rule of thumb is that if you see bodies closing above 2.5, we are most likely going to get 4. Okay, so 4 standard deviation will be around here, and I think that would be close to the consequent encroachment but slightly above. Okay, so if you use the fibs, you mark up the volume balance, consequent encroachment is right here. So this is a safe area, right? So price might just wick up, but but if it is bearish, the bodies should close below this level here. Okay, that would mark the top, and the ultimate top would be 5. So 5 standard deviation right here. Okay, usually I don't measure beyond that, so maximum is 5. Usually it's just 4, 2, and 2.5. This 3 is just an it's just an additional measure to see where we are, where the price is going to be. Okay, so coming back down into this area, I expect support to push the price higher into 4541. Okay, so heading down into the 1 hour, we can see that there is a sell side down here. So if every time um, before an expansion, there is usually and there's almost always a stop hunt. Okay, that would be the turtle soup setup. Okay, so using that stop hunt after this low is taken out, I want to see price shift bullish, and then for me that I would start to look for my setup. Okay, my setup is based on confirmation because I'm still learning how to um, buy and sell turtle soups. So that is the ultimate entry that you can get. So the turtle soup is the highest form of entry that you can master. So right now I'm just mastering the confirmation after the turtle soup. Okay, right. So let's do this away, and then that's for ES. Okay, for Nasdaq, similarly, we have the balanced price range here. But because on the weekly there is no data on the left due to the current contract that we are trading, I'm just going to use this swing high here as targets. So on the daily, similarly to Nasdaq, similarly to ES, right? On 4 hours as well, right? And if you use the measurements, that would bring us way above this buy stops. Okay, yeah. So same, I'm expecting support in this area here and then a run higher. Even though we have so-called relative equal lows down here, I do not want to see this tagged. Okay, treat it as, let me take a look. What about YMU? Right, so nothing much here as well. Right, so I'm not gonna look at this because the thing is that price is bullish, so I'm anticipating this order block to hold if it was to come down here. Okay, but preferably does not even trade past this breaker here. This is the breaker, right? Lows, lower low, the high that made the low, and then we have a fair value gap right here within the breaker. Okay, so this is a very good setup as a confirmation to run the buy stops. Okay, pretty simple. And yeah, I think that's all for Nasdaq. Right, so heading over to um, back to ES, I just want to see if we can, oops, if we can utilize the weekly retracements, right? Because we didn't get that for Friday. I was anticipating TGIF model by ICT. I was anticipating price to retrace back into 20% of the weekly range, but Obviously, we did not get that on Friday. So 20% is marked purple right here, 44.72. I mean 44.72. So next week, if we were to retrace back into the 20%, I think that's a viable longing opportunity. It's either the 20% or the 30%. Okay, but I marked the lowest hanging fruit. And coincidentally, both of them ends up in the fair value gap right here on 4 hours. So that's another bullish confluence. Okay. But then again, do keep in mind that this is weekly forecast before the opening. So you do want to see the opening, especially on the next week, because next week we have two holidays, Monday and Tuesday. So that would shorten the trading week, right? Which means basically low probabilities. And we'll also need to see how the Sunday opens up, right? To see whether there's a opening gap or there's a gap up, gap down, how wide is the gap. All those things have to be considered, right? So, which is why the weekly forecast is just a draft, right? A draft of where you anticipate the price would want to gravitate to, and you build that up with framework and evidence. Okay, so the earliest day I'm gonna trade would be on Wednesday, most preferably, and because next week we also have non-farm payrolls, if I'm not wrong. Let's double check. Yep, so next week it's non-farm payroll week as well. Mm, Surprisingly, we do have a news event on Monday. Monday, 10 a.m. But I thought it was a public holiday. I'll have to double check on that. But I from the calendar I can see that there's nothing on Tuesday, so maybe the holidays on Tuesday. I might take a setup on Monday, right? Because we have news on 10. It's a red folder news. I will not enter I don't enter positions before news. I enter it after, so it doesn't matter. Right, on Wednesday we have FOMC meeting minutes. Right, I'm just gonna pull a calendar right here to make things simpler. Okay, so we have FOMC on Wednesday. I think that's a nice day to trade. Um, Thursday, yeah. So because we have such events, scalps only, I think. Because usually on non-farm payroll weeks, you want to end your trading before Wednesday PM. So all trades have to be taken before Wednesday AM, right? In addition to that, we have a bank holiday, I think, on Tuesday. And then we have FOMC meetings, I mean, on Wednesday PM session. Lots of landmines here. Thursday, we have PMI, unemployment claims, all the manipulation news, and then on Friday, non-farm payrolls. Okay, so I'll be slightly more cautious next week if I'm gonna trade. Okay, but mostly scalps, right? I'm not gonna aim for huge expansions, just internal liquidities, right? So now putting that aside, okay, let me just sort out the tabs. Right. So next on we'll be moving to dollar. Right. So dollar, this is the monthly chart. I still believe that we're gonna attack the monthly fair value gap right here. Okay. Whether or not how long it takes, I'm not too sure. But right now, price is consolidating in the range. So on a weekly chart, as you can see, we have closed below the previous inversion, and then we have a bearish fair value gap right here. Price traded up all the way there, and then closes right below. I mean, not right below, but below it. So I want to see if dollar can maintain the bullish stance from last month or the last 2 months. Okay, on the month of May. Right. So on the daily charts, price reacted off this bullish fair value gap, sent the price higher. Right now we're in a bullish order flow on the daily, right? As long as price does not trade below this swing low, I'm I'm certain that it's gonna attack the buy stops. Okay, we have one buy stop here, and then one over here, and one over here. Eventually, I think it's gonna come here, but I'm not sure how this is gonna play out. Okay, not sure how the candles is gonna play paint. For bullishness, I would prefer to see the price close above the blue rectangular box, which is the inversion fair value gap on the weekly. And for bearishness, we want to see this swing low traded too, and then we can look for the equal lows down here, right? Sort of a 50-50 here on the dollar, so no bias just yet, right? We'll have to wait for more information on the first few days of trading next week, right? So now that we're done with the futures and the forex, and futures indices and forex, I'm gonna cover some individual stocks, metal, like I'm gonna cover gold and maybe some crypto or just Bitcoin. Okay, so let's start with gold. On the weekly chart, gold came down into this balanced price range, reacted nicely here. Okay, if it is going to send price higher, I think now this is the last down close candles that you will see trading within this fair value gap. Okay, I want to see reaction now, closing or trading above this bearish order block right here. Okay, because we only have like a small little wick above the buy stops, I anticipate another run on the buy stop. Okay, and if that's the case, I want price for confirmation, right? I want price to close above this bearish fair value gap, make it an inversion to send the price higher. Okay, that is what I want to see in gold, right? Because if you measure the projections, I'm gonna use here to here. We closed above 2.5. Okay, on this week itself, this candle closed above 2.5, right? So, and then we have a bullish order flow. What would invalidate this is if price closed below this fair value gap, right? First warning would be price closing below this balanced price range. Second would be price closing below this fair value gap right here, the green level 1870.14. Okay, so as long as price can trade above this 1870.14, I look for higher prices to 2180.46. Okay, very simple for gold here, right? And let's move on to the next one. Let's go with digital gold, Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, I'm still expecting 35, right? 34, it's here, 35, somewhere around there. Right there, we would enter the breakers. Okay, we have swing high, higher high, the low that made the high, closed below the low there, and then right now it's coming back up. This is the breaker entry with the fair value gap. Okay, just look at it from the monthly perspective, that would be clearer. Right, so we have a monthly fair value gap here, and we have the weekly, I mean the monthly breaker here. Okay, so this down close candle is the breaker block, right? And then we have bearish order blocks right here as well. So lots of bearish confluences right around these levels. So I am personally using 35k, but if you want to use the projections, it could even possibly push up to 36, 45, 8, 45, 8. Okay, this is 2.5 standard deviation. This would most likely be the top if price is going to step up into this area, right? Obviously, it does not have to. It can come up to 33 and then just drop, right? Because this is 2. So usually reversals slash retracements comes in 2 or 2.5. These two levels are crucial, right? If price closes, if you see any candles closing above 2.5, then we're most likely coming for 45, but I think that's very unlikely. Okay, so I'm just gonna, record it down here, and then we will come back when price reaches these levels here. Okay, so what's after this level? I'm expecting a reversal down into these breakers here. Okay, the last stop hunt that drove the price higher, we have the breaker here. So I think price is going to come down, take out all this sell stops. Okay, I think minimum this level here, because as you can see, we are having a phantom trend line. Okay, so normal new investors or traders that comes into the market, they like to use trend lines like this, right? When you see trend lines like this, usually they break. Minimum target would be the second one, the one in the middle. Okay, right. So Um, yep, so that's my bias for Bitcoin. Okay, let's move on to stocks now. Let's start with Tesla. Tesla. Okay, so initially I was expecting it to retrace back into this balanced price range at least for a entry, because we have a breaker right here as well. But right now it seems like it does not want to, right? It's going to maintain that bullishness. And if so, my next target will be the high tier. They are relatively equal. Heading down into the monthly, it will be the highs here. Okay, because judging from Nasdaq's rally, this would be possible. Okay, Nasdaq has rallied a lot this year, so yeah, for Tesla, I expect more upside. Okay, let's head over to Palantir. Palantir, same thing, I was expecting retracements into the balanced price range, but right now does not seem like it wants to do so. Okay, we have a inefficiency above here, right? If you just use the projections similarly, swing low to swing high, we are right now in the fourth. If you're gonna use this minuscule, but I would prefer to use this high here, okay? Because this high took out the lows here and here, okay? I'm gonna use this high here. And then right here, as you can see, 2.5, it retraced. Okay. Any closures above this level, we're going to run to 21, right? The body's closure is the one that you need to monitor, right? This is for Palantir. Let's do one for Tesla. I think I missed out on that. For Tesla, maybe I'll use this. Right now we're in one. 2 and 2.5 would be above, 4 would be new all-time highs. I think that's likely if Bitcoin is to continue bullish, and if is to crash first. Okay, so dollar crashing means dollar taking out this lowest here, right? Then I would anticipate it running out the highs here. Right? This highs looks too smooth, I think. Like, I would like to see something like this, not like a sliding down. Okay, not like a trend line down. All right, and let's move on to what's popular. Okay, I'm gonna cover one last US stock, and I think that's gonna be Meta. Right, so Meta, very bullish. Okay, I'm gonna redraw the chart. Okay, so for Meta, trading and closing above the consequent encroachment of this monthly fair value gap here, I think we're gonna reach for the highs, right? So I want to see price supported here, this level here. We have a balanced price range right here. Small little fair value gap, but you can still see it right here. Let's use a rectangle. Okay, marking it out on the monthly, and then we have this area as well. This is a balanced price range, but I'm not going to mark that because we have not seen any price reaction from that level specifically. Okay, we only have one candle through and one candle down. Right now it's returning back, repricing to it, right? So once it repriced to it, I want to see if there is any reaction of this level here, right? Let's say if it closes above, then expect all-time highs for Meta, right? For example, it would be like this. Oops. All right, so closure above, we seek the buy stops. Okay, closure within and then below the consequent encroachment, then lower. Okay, let's head over to the weekly. Right, let's use this as a measurement. Can't really measure anything off this level here. Monthly, I think it's only one standard deviation. Yep, just one standard deviation. 1 week. Yep. Okay, so let's see if we can use this swing low to swing high. Right. Or maybe this high here. Both make sense, but I would prefer this rundown. Okay. So let's see if we get there. So far it's nicely positioned. Right. All-time highs I'm expecting here to be the high. 420. Right. So let's cover. I suddenly thought of a popular company, Nvidia. Right. So far, reacting very nicely, closing above 2.5. Therefore, I'm expecting it to reach to 537. Okay. And when the time comes that they reach here, I think we're gonna get a pretty strong retracement down. Okay. Um. Okay, let's move on to the two Chinese markets that I'm interested in. One is Baba. All right. So for Baba, Chinese equities, Chinese companies, currently pretty bearish, to be honest. We have a fair value gap here. This is a bearish fair value gap. I want to see if the price is able to close above this area here. And if it is able to do so, then I would look for the buy stops here because we have not ran the buy stops here before trading lower. Okay. But obviously it's unwilling to do so, and for the next following candle it displays away from the fair value gap after a closure within. If you have been on my live streams, I've mentioned this before. Anytime a candle closes within a bearish fair value gap that you deem that as your potential entry, you want to see the next candle close away from that fair value gap on that specific time frame. Okay, so this is what we got on a weekly time frame. Candle closes above, and I mean closes within, and the next candle, if because I'm bearish here, I want to see the next candle displays away from the fair value gap, right? The close of this candle must be below the fair value gap to indicate that I am most probably in sync with this current price action. Okay, so right here we have the volume balance. We even closed below it. So basically this becomes a bearish order block. So you can use this order block, or you can use the volume imbalance as your shorting opportunity to take out minimum this low here and to reach into these inefficiencies right here. We have lots of volume imbalances right here. But ultimately I am thinking that it's going to reach down into 57.2 because we have a wonderful equal lows down here, right? If you take a look at the monthly chart, this is way too clean, okay? Way too clean to be left. That is my opinion, okay? I expect price to attack the lows here. This is where everyone is going to put their sell stops right below, okay? So using the monthly chart, similarly, you can as well enter trades based off shorting or longing the stock. Okay, so right here we have the monthly volume imbalance. Price closed below that, so I want to see price stay below this. Okay, this is gonna be used as resistance if market is bearish. Right, so as you can see right in the current month, no, the previous month, because this is the month of June. Right now we're in month of July. So the previous monthly closure came back up into this bearish order block and then closed below the volume imbalance right here. So this is indicate bearishness. Okay, so the near-term target would be obviously the mean threshold of this order block here, because you can see that it was utilized before right here in this month. Price came down to the opening, rallied back up, closes above the mean threshold of this order block right here. Okay, so this right here would be the first take profits, right? But I think terminus is still here. Using the Fibonacci projections, I want to see if I can measure something out of it. Okay, swing high to swing low. One standard deviation would be $20, but I think that's a little bit too far-fetched. Okay, so let's use the weekly instead. So the weekly, right, it would be this level here. So because price closed below 2.5, pretty obvious here we have even trading below that. The final target would be 4. That would be 45. right below the equal lows down here. Okay, so this is, I think that's terminus. That's the overall terminus. Okay, right here you can see how the price reacts nicely right around 1 standard deviation. Right here as well, 2 standard deviation, and then unfortunately closed below 2.5. So 2.5, where is it? It's right below the equal lows here. That was our target. Okay, so it's lined up very nicely here, which is why I'm gonna use this level as my projections. All right, so I'm gonna draw a line here to indicate that, and then we will see in the next upcoming months whether it's gonna come to the targets or not. Okay, it's highlighted in purple. All right, so this is BABA. All right, so previously, I'm gonna move to HSI, Hang Seng Index. So previously I was using Hang Seng Index to judge the willingness to move higher for BABA, right? Because Hang Seng Index has had a 3-week rally, creating a fair value gap within a balanced price range. But I wanted to see price close within the balanced price range. And then look what happened here. Price closed below that, right? And right now we have bearishness on the Hang Seng Index. If Hang Seng Index is going to be bearish, that's going to pull that Chinese companies or stocks lower. Very simple logic here. Okay, so right now I want to see this act as resistance. Okay, previously because it ran to sell stops and then into a discount fair value gap, rallied higher, I thought that maybe it might want to run the highs here because we do have a monthly fair value gap right here. Okay, but right now it seems unlikely, and I think it's gonna attack the minimum this low here and then this low here. We have still inefficiencies here, and I want to see if it's gonna overextend, take out this low into this. What's this level? It's another inefficiency on the monthly chart, which is the volume imbalance. Okay, so let's see if that's gonna happen. And at the same time, because previous to, I think in the month of May, price closed below this inversion fair value gap. So I was already thinking that it was going to be slightly bearish. Okay. But because it has closed in the vicinity of that low, right? It's not an obvious, right? It's not really that obvious. I was thinking that maybe it might want to run up one more time, but seems like a no. Okay. So I think next month I want to see price close below this fair value gap to indicate that it really wants to go lower. Okay. Yeah, as I think I got it wrong previously. I stated that that was the monthly fair value gap, but that's incorrect here. We don't see any monthly. It's just a weekly inefficiency fair value gap right here above this highs here. Okay. And this is for the Hang Seng Index, and I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. We have been streaming for 39 minutes, okay? Good enough for the weekly forecast next week. And right, I'm gonna close the session here, and good luck trading next week. Just be really cautious because we have lots of landmines next week. And I believe better days are coming for indices, right? I would like to see days back in 2022. Okay, just for your reference or to fill up your curiosity, right? Why can't I reach the ES? ES1, come on. ES1, ES1. Okay, so if you look back at 2022, 2022, 2022. Okay, to see how easy the market was as compared to now. This is 2023 onwards. Market has just been ranging sideways and in a slow grind up, whereby in the year 2020, price have this huge daily expansions almost every month, right? These are the days, these are the easy seller days. Okay, I can't wait for these days to come back. Right, these are the days whereby you make very easy gains over the course of the year. Okay, and you have seasonal tendencies playing out as well. This year we did not have that. Okay, so far we did not have that. Right, so yeah, I hope you find this insightful, and if it helped you in any way, do comment down below if you think that I can improve in any way, or if you have any suggestions. And do leave a like if you think that it helps you in your analysis, right? And yeah, I'm gonna close it right here and have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Right, signing out.